Welcome back to Free to Become Me channel. We want to thank you so much for joining us today. And please do not forget to give us a like, subscribe, comment, and share. Alrighty, fam. So in this video, we want to talk about, are you thinking about moving out of the USA? Then this actually can apply to any country, wherever your home country is. But since we're from the USA, we're going to name it. Are you thinking about moving out of the USA? So I have a few, maybe about 8 to 10, it may go a little longer, tips for you. Okay. So the first question you have to ask yourself, why do you want to move? That's huge. Why do you want to leave your home country? Okay. Is it spiritual? Okay. In our case, it was spiritual. We decided to leave the USA because it set well in our spirit when we prayed on it. The Father dropped it in our spirit. We prayed on it. We fasted. And that's how we knew it was our time to move. Now, at that particular time, we didn't know where we were moving to, but we knew it was time to move. Okay. Now, we had a few locations on the map. Belize was one of them. We had Costa Rica. We looked into several different areas, particularly in Central America and South America. And we did look at some areas also in Africa. But Central America was probably number one on the list because it is close to the U.S. And if we needed to get back to the U.S., then we knew that it wouldn't take long to get back. Okay, so if it's spiritual, what I would say, do it. Okay, because once you've tapped into your higher self and the Father, the Most High, has dropped something in your spirit, you do want to go ahead and move forward with it. Okay, now next, like I said in the first question was, why are you moving? Now, are you moving because of the new administration, the government? Because you have to remember, you may have issues in your own country, but any area you go has a government. Okay, so if you think that you're going to escape the system, you're not, because the system is everywhere. Okay, now of course it may not be as difficult as far as the way you see it. Okay, you may say, okay, it's very difficult to live in the USA. You can't do this, you can't do that. Okay, you may find somewhere where it's not going to be just like the USA, but you still have a government. Okay, Belize still has a government, and there's still issues even over here that we have to deal with. So don't think that you're going to escape the system, because you're not. Okay, you may think that the grass is greener on the other side, but sometimes it's not. So you want to make sure you understand why you are leaving your home country. Okay, another option maybe it's the state you're in. Maybe it's the city you're in. Because what I'm realizing as I grow in my walk and my spirituality is that every country, every state, every city and town has a spirit. Because when you go to certain areas, you can tell it has a spirit because the people act very similar. So you can see the spirit on the people. You can see the spirit on the government. You can see the spirit on the country. You can see it. So every area you go has a spirit. Okay? So if you've decided to if you realize this area that you're in, say if you're in Florida and you decide, okay, Florida is not for me, but then you're trying to categorize Florida as the United States, the entire United States. Okay, we know that's not true, because you may go somewhere else, it may be totally different. You can go to New York, you can go to Chicago, you can go to California. It may be totally different. So maybe it's not about leaving your country. Maybe you should just visit another state, another city, and see if that area sets well in your spirit, because maybe it's a better fit. So maybe you don't have to get up and leave your country. And again, it goes back to, if you've been called to leave, then of course you want to leave, because in our case, we were called to leave, and I don't believe that I could have grown the way that I've grown here. I couldn't have done that in the USA. There's no way, because when I say the USA really caters to you, and when I say that, understand what I'm saying, is that a lot of things in the USA is like a microwave. You get it now. You can go down the street and get it. You can go to Walmart to get it. You can go to Publix to get it. You can get it now. Everything is now, because everything is about business and everything is about making money. Okay. Now over here in Belize, it's different, because they may or may not show up. You may have an appointment. They may show up. Okay, if they tell you tomorrow may not really be tomorrow. And when I say tomorrow, I mean, say if today is a Monday and tomorrow is Tuesday, they may not show up on Tuesday, even though they tell you tomorrow. Because really, when you look up the definition, tomorrow means something in the future. So they may not even come Tuesday. They may come Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or they may even come next week. So over here, I really had to work on my patience. And I prayed this prayer a long time ago. Always be careful what you pray, because you might just get it. Because you never know how the prayer is going to come. So moving over here has really, like I've said in previous videos, moving over here has really changed me. I mean, sometimes I look and say, who is this person? But again, there's no way, I don't believe in a million years that I could have done this change in the States. I believe it only could have happened here, and that's why he brought me here. He brought us here. Okay. Then you want to make sure wherever you decide to move to, that you've done your homework, And again, you can only do so much. I mean, we did homework. Could we have done more? Of course, we could have done more. But we did do homework. You want to visit the area. I do not recommend someone going to an area sight unseen. But again, if it's a spiritual calling, do it, because we know a couple people over here that moved over here from the U.S. or Canada sight unseen. They just moved over and they still live here. It's been years and they still live here. So again, in that case, if it's a calling on your life, then do it. But other than that, I wouldn't recommend doing sight unseen, because you want to go to the area, you want to fill out the area, you want to fill out the people, you want to see how things run in the country. So, or even if you decide to move to a different state in your home country, you just want to fill out the area. What are the laws? You want to check out the laws in the area. How long you can stay there. What are the fees? You just want to know what you're getting yourself into when you move. Because again, just remember, the grass is not always greener, because you may be able to make it work in your own country, maybe going to a different state or city. Okay? The next one is going to be the cost of living. Okay? And that's another good reason to visit. You want to see, can you afford it? The biggest thing here in Belize is going to be the taxes, the property taxes. The property taxes are really low, which is truly a blessing, because if everything is paid for, and then the only thing you have to pay for is, if you're off grid, you don't really have to pay for anything. If you're partial off grid, then you'll just have to pay maybe one bill. Okay, and then you may have to pay, your internet or whatever the case is. Okay, so you definitely want to look into the costs and the longevity of it. Are you going to be able to afford to live in this place? Okay, the next one is going to be, can you work if needed? Okay, if you're not retired and you're not receiving a pension or a retirement check or anything, are you able to work in the country that you are looking to move to? Okay, and Belize, as far as working, really, if you're an American, the only thing you're going to really want to do is do something online, because that's really the only thing where you're going to really make money. And then you have to have a permit, and then if you do decide to work locally, but if you're interested in making money, for the most part, you're probably going to have to do something online. With that being said, then you have to have good internet. Okay, where we live, we don't have the best internet. Okay, there is internet out here, but it's not the best internet, and it's not the internet that you would need if you are looking to have like a 9-to-5 job. For the most part, you're going to need to have your own business with the type of internet over here, because if you have to be at work at 9, you work 9 to 5, you might be there, you might not, because the internet may not be working, or it may be, up and down all day. That's just how it is. So these are the things that where the title homework comes in. That you have to do your homework, but some things you're just not going to know until you actually move to the area. So, it is what it is. Okay, are you seeking residency? So when you do decide to move out of your country, are you seeking residency in the new country? Because you can have dual citizenship, because you can here too. Because we originally moved here, we were going to get dual citizenship. Now you have to be here, I think, at least a year, and then after a year, then you do an application, and you have to pay some fees. So that's what it is. In the meantime, you just pay a fee to stay here, basically. After you stay 30 days, you have to pay a fee. After living here a year and a half, we decided we're not interested in seeking residency. So while we're here, we'll just pay the fee. So it just depends on what you're interested in. Okay, and then, all right, let me get back into my iPad so I can have all the. All right, so the next one is, and the last one is going to be, you want to make sure you got a passport, because you're not going anywhere if you don't have a passport. Now, you would think that would just be a known thing, but you want to make sure before you get ready, wherever you go, if you're leaving your country, you have to have a passport. Okay, so this is just a little information that we wanted to bring to you today. Because if you are thinking about it, if it's ever crossed your mind that you want to leave the USA, you always want to go back to the foundation. What is your reasoning? What is the purpose of you leaving your home country? Because you want to make sure in the end it actually does make sense. Okay, but we want to thank you so much for joining us today on Free to Become Me, and please do not forget to go ahead and give us a like, subscribe, comment, and share. See you on the next video.